I'll cut straight to the chase. This will be the most important Casper video you may watch. This has been months of research synthesized into 10 minutes. I'll talk about Bitcoin, current financial systems, inflation, monetary debasement and control, and Casper, and how it could be programmed to solve these issues. Buckle up, strap in, and stay to the end of the video. This is not one you want to miss. Also, if you appreciate Casper and the time it's taken me to put this together, like the video, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more Casper content. Let's get into it.
There are currency devaluations taking place that people are not talking about. The Nigerian naira is down 50-60% in the last 9 months. Egypt just devalued by 40%. Argentina continuing to devalue. I think this is a flight to safety, believe it or not, taking place. A hedge against devaluation, a hedge against a loss of purchasing power and wealth. Last year in the United States, regional banks imploded. Bitcoin went up 40%. I think this is an insurance policy against rogue regimes or against just horrible fiscal and monetary policies.
Currently with traditional finance, our money is controlled by a central entity, a single point of failure who has a poor track record when it comes to keeping our purchasing power intact. Our money is worth less and less year on year, and that 3% pay rise you might be getting actually is a pay cut when it doesn't exceed inflation. If you look at the CPI, we're currently losing 7.4% of our purchasing power, and it's only getting worse.
We commonly call it inflation, but I actually think that's a central bank euphemism because it sounds good. People think like, oh, inflation, my house is going up, my stocks are more valuable. But what's happening in reality is the value of the dollar is declining. It's not the value of the assets that are becoming more valuable.
Long story short, there's an excess of money printing. It makes the middle class more poor year on year, and it's a form of financial control. You only have to look briefly at history to see some of the worst hyperinflation situations of all time. In Greece, in 1944, monthly inflation was 13,800%. That equates to prices doubling every 4.3 days. In Germany, 1923, prices doubled every 3.7 days. In Yugoslavia, more recently in 1994, prices doubled every 1.4 days. And looking at Zimbabwe at number 2, look at their highest monthly inflation rates, being 79,600,000,000%. And firstly, Hungary in 1946, where prices doubled every 15.6 hours. Although there were multiple contributing factors to all of these, the printing of money without any sort of financial restraint was a large factor. And I mean, if you really think about it, it's supply and demand. Do you want to hold on to something that the government and central banks can just repeatedly print more of to pay their debts?
Say $1 US, 1 euro, 1 yen. The banking system can lend out 10. So the entire system is called the fractional reserve system. The fractional reserve system is also printing money. And then they tell you to save money. So they want you to save money so they can lend out your money 10 times. So your dollar became worthless 10 times over.
Long story short, why would you want to hold on something that's controlled by someone else that they can print more of to make your holdings worth less? You only need to look at the American banking crisis last year, look into fractionalized reserve banking, and banks lending money that they don't have on hand. If everyone wanted to go in and get their money out of the bank at the same time, the bank would not be able to do this. It would need to sell a huge amount of loans at a loss, which has resulted in banking bailouts, which is, yeah, you guessed it, printing more money to add into circulation to help pay for this, which is further devaluing your dollar and further reducing your purchasing power. More money is flowing into circulation, more devaluation of your money. It's an endless cycle to keep people poor. And if you think about it deeply, it's absolutely criminal. Playing by these rules, you're being reliant on an old system that makes you more and more poor and costs you a substantial amount to use. If you weren't aware, even using your card usually comes with a surcharge of between 1% and 4%. As opposed to that, you could instead hold a resource that can't be shut down, isn't controlled by one entity, and can't be inflated out of existence. Initially, this is where Bitcoin came in. However, it wasn't widely known about, and people largely accepted the old system. But I think that goes largely down to the lack of information and understanding around finance, and just people generally having just a blind faith in the government and banks. There's a bit of, that's the way it's always been, so that's the way it will continue to be mentality. And although this initially might seem doom and gloom, there is a solution. Having a digital asset not controlled by one person, country, government, company that the world could use as a peer-to-peer payment mechanism. And that was Satoshi Nakamoto's first dream when he created Bitcoin. Transactions could be made 24/7, 365 and validated and secured by a complex web of computers scattered around the world who mine Bitcoin, which is validating and securing the network to keep it all running, with these computers or miners then being rewarded in Bitcoin for their efforts. Unlike today, where a large amount of people both own Bitcoin or are at least aware of Bitcoin, back in the early days, very few people knew about it. Even less knew how to buy it, and even less understood what it was actually set out to be. And while Bitcoin has been a massive success and has kicked off a global financial revolution, Bitcoin is no longer viable as that peer-to-peer payment solution, largely due to its small block size. To simplify a complex topic, Bitcoin had a block size programmed of 1 megabyte, and this was based on largely the technology of the day. Increasing the block size would have compromised security. However, having the block size cap decreased its scalability, with now the amount of people using Bitcoin causing the Bitcoin network to become congested, which increases the transaction cost. This caused early in 2023 Bitcoin transaction costs to be approximately $37. Now, obviously, this is unsustainable as a payment mechanism, especially if its popularity is going to increase. Imagine buying a coffee for $5 only to have to pay a $37 surcharge. That's hardly the future of finance. And in some countries, that even might be more than their daily average salary. People also largely don't want to spend their Bitcoin due to its scarcity, as why would you want to spend your Bitcoin today when it will likely be worth more tomorrow? We need a new champion, something that is not controlled by a central entity. It's permissionless and solves the blockchain trilemma, being secure, scalable, and decentralized. It needs to be abundant and as convenient to use as a credit card. I truly believe that currently a hedge against devaluation of the dollar has never been as important as it is today. That was Bitcoin, and this is Casper, a new technology which operates as fast as internet speeds allow. Unlike the former Bitcoin using blockchain technology, Casper is upgraded, implementing block DAG technology. It's the fastest and most scalable instant confirmation transaction layer ever built on a proof of work engine. It utilizes the world's first block DAG. Simply put, this makes Casper more transferable with better technology. It's open source, highly decentralized, and was fairly launched, so there was no pre-mine, no pre-sales, no coin allocations. Casper is 100% decentralized, open sourced, and community managed. It's fast, cheap, and secure. Another massive benefit of Casper is the founder, Jonathan Sompolinsky, who, if you're not familiar, is an absolute OG in the crypto space. He was a man cited in the 2013 Ethereum white paper for his Ghost protocol. The team also consists of some other heavy hitters, including Michael, Shai, and Mike. Have a look into them. They're all incredibly intelligent and have excelled in their fields. So we've already talked about the importance of having a currency that's decentralized and digital and can't be inflated or printed out of existence. Casper really aims to do this and really aims to do what Bitcoin set out to do when it was first created, which is becoming that number one peer-to-peer payment or electronic cash. This is really where the name Casper originated from, with the old Aramaic word meaning silver, as silver was historically treated as less precious than gold, but more circulative. It was more often used as a form of payment. Looking at adoption rates of crypto as well, they've also increased at a huge number, with many young people now flocking towards crypto as they feel largely disenfranchised, being brought up in a world where they feel they can't really get ahead. I know I definitely felt this way before I discovered crypto. If you look at the crypto adoption and the Bitcoin adoption, it's only a matter of time before Bitcoin flips gold. Everyone also laughed at the fact that Bitcoin would ever flip silver, and then it did flip silver. If Bitcoin can flip silver and then go on to flip gold, what if Casper could flip silver? Casper might not be the winner of this race, but I truly believe that one of the most important things that we need in our society is a digital, decentralized peer-to-peer payment. And Casper, I think at this stage, is the most likely to fulfill that. So if Casper could flip silver, what would that equate to? Well, having a look at the market cap of Casper, currently it has a market cap of roughly 4.2 billion. And looking at silver, silver has a market cap of 1.591 trillion. So if you divide 1.59 trillion by 4.2 billion, you get 378. So that would be a 378x on the price of Casper if it ever did flip silver. So if you times Casper's current price with 378, so Casper's current price is 14.5 cents times 378, that would equate to a $54 Casper. Now that might seem absolutely ludicrous, and that is not a price prediction that I'm expecting this cycle at all, but it is a price prediction or a total market cap that I am expecting of some asset that is widely adopted as that digital silver. Will this be Casper? Well, time remains to be seen. I think Casper is definitely in a good place to compete for this digital silver. And if it does win, I do think that maybe in 2, 3, 4 cycles, we could get that $1 trillion plus asset class. Now, I know it does seem insane at this point, but if we do have the exponential adoption of crypto and Bitcoin, then the world realizing that we need something that's less scarce, more scalable, and then an adoption of that digital silver. If it is Casper, I think the fair valuation of something approximating that of silver isn't an unlikely estimate. There are so many technicals of Casper that I could talk about here, but what I truly think is important is that in crypto, despite all of the implementations and all of the improvements that have been made since 2009, there hasn't been one successful peer-to-peer payment solution that solves the blockchain trilemma, that is able to be implemented, is fast, secure, and scalable. It's been 14 years since Bitcoin was released, and I don't think we've had a viable solution up until now. There's so much chaos happening in the world. People in Nigeria are getting arrested for having Bitcoin. Money is getting worth less and less in each country. People are not wanting to use their country's fiat money, and people are wanting to move their money into something that's more decentralized and doesn't have that one point of failure. They want a global dollar. I think Casper truly solves one of the core fundamental problems that this world has: a global, permissionless, decentralized, peer-to-peer digital cash. People are struggling and they're doing it tough. If you look at lottery sales, they're at all-time highs. If you look at gambling rates, they're at all-time highs. Countries that are not allowing their residents to buy Bitcoin are saying that's to protect the user, but really it's to protect their own interests. If they really cared, then they'd outlaw things such as lotteries, gambling, which really do significantly disadvantage the everyday user. Not Bitcoin, not Casper. People are in a system that has let them down, and people are looking for a way out. Countries are banning Bitcoin and crypto, and they're realizing that it's a better system than the current money that they've set up. However, it doesn't suit the country's needs to let their residents buy cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin. And I think one day maybe such as Casper. Awesome. Well, that'll wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for staying along till the end. This one really was months worth of research synthesized into 10 minutes for you. I really do appreciate your support, so don't forget to like the video, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more Casper content. I appreciate it, I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one.